I have some things to talk about. Instagram and TikTok nearly made me give up music. Kinda. I don't know if you've been on these platforms lately. A lot of you haven't, a lot of you are leaving. But sometime when Instagram began to copy TikTok, things started to fall apart. Our platforms have changed from being platforms that you search for content on to be something that serves you content. The most dramatic, violent, hateful, crazy, silly, and cute things that you never asked for. And when you don't ask for these things and you keep getting given the most extreme parts of the internet, you start to change your behaviors. I find myself approaching these platforms with such anxiety, and as far as making content goes, I've checked out. Not only that, but as a musician, you know, instead of competing with other musicians, you now have to compete with this viral TikTok star that's doing crazier and crazier things. I cannot compete with Mr. Beast. I can't afford a Tesla, and I can't catapult it into the sun because I don't have that kind of money. And yet, on these platforms, we are treated as equal. And that's insane to me. So this is the problem. And what the hell are we going to do about it? And I say we because it's not just me. I see you artists out there. I hear you artists talking to me every day. You all hate this stuff too. We all hate short form content because it seems to be more important than our music nowadays. And we're musicians. We didn't become painters, so don't ask us to paint. We didn't become filmmakers, so don't ask us to make films. And we did not become content creators, so don't ask us to make content. I know for me, I only realized this recently. I think I was being a content creator out of fear that I wouldn't have a career without it. That it was the fastest and best way to build a fan base. I don't think that's true anymore. This is why I hate short form content. This is why a lot of artists I know hate short form content. And this is why I think you hate short form content as well. Because it's not just my music. It's my life. It's having a really, really nasty impact on our mental health. On our mental health? On our mental health. So it's having a really nasty effect on our mental health. And I can't live like this anymore. I just can't. So what am I going to do about it? What are we going to do about this? Right? My thinking throughout most of my life on social media was that I needed it. I needed to be on Instagram because that's where people were. I needed to be on TikTok because that's where people were. And I needed to make short form content because it could go viral and that would make my music career work. And a lot of us think like this. And we think like this for good reason because the music industry tells us that this is how it is. And whether or not that's true, which I'm starting to believe it's not, that's what the music industry thinks. So when you reject things like social media, when you reject things like short form content, record labels look at you and go, oh, you're never going to succeed. And they won't work with a new artist who's not on social media. Why would they? That artist is not going to go viral tomorrow. And the notes that people get from their record label when it comes to promotion is, oh, the record's not doing well. Can't you do some TikToks to make it go better? That is the advice that these major labels are giving to artists. It's insane. So even the major labels are at the mercy of short form content, or at least they think they are. But I think there's another way. What's his name? The guy from Pamplemousse. Whatever. Jack Conte? Mr. Conte. Basically, the guy who founded Patreon. He talks a lot about this idea of the 1,000 true fans theory from, what's his name? I actually wrote this guy's name down. Kevin Kelly. If you have 1,000 true fans, and what he means by true fans is people who will basically buy everything you do, consume everything you make, shout about you, scream about you, and love you forever, basically. These are the people who are your ride or die fan base.
You're a ride or die.
If you can find 1,000 of those people, you can survive as an artist. And that is manageable. That feels way more manageable than going viral for some reason. And so my plan now is to seek quality over quantity. But let's figure out what those two things are. In the industry, we have this idea of passive and active listeners. So passive listeners are people who find you on playlists. They're not looking for you. They listen to you because you're on in the background, or they listen to you because you're next on the playlist. They don't become fans. They don't buy tickets to shows. They don't share their stories with you. They don't become inspired by yours. They look really good on streaming numbers and they look really good to the industry, but in reality, they don't translate into an actual fan base. It's the active listeners, however. These are the people who listen to your music more than once. These are the people who put you on their playlists. They are the people who download your music. They are the people who go to your shows and talk to you and text you and email you and join your Patreon. They are the people who live with you online. And these are the people that we're looking for as artists. This is what my strategy is going to be focused on now. Active listeners, active fans, not passive ones. I think I have 13. I think I have 11 or 13 people. And the reason I say that is because these are my patrons. I consider them quality 1,000 true fan people. And so now I know who I want. How do we find them? Here's the fun trick about that. You currently watching this, you are already that person. There are these things I call hurdle platforms. This is YouTube, this is Patreon, this is my mailing list. These are the 3 things I'm focusing on. And the reason they're hurdle platforms is because you have to do something to engage in them. On YouTube, you're never going to be served my content. You're going to have to go find it. When it comes to my mailing list, you're going to have to go to my website. You're going to have to go to the bottom and you're going to have to type your name and your email address in and then click confirm. If you want to become a patron, you have to spend money to do that. Whether it's time or whether it's money, these are hurdles that you have to jump through to get access to me and what I do. They filter out the people who don't care. And this is the superpower of limiting my focus to Patreon, to YouTube, and to my mailing list. And this also means I'm going to have to shift what I make for these places. Like this video right now, you couldn't do this on TikTok. You couldn't do this on Instagram. I need to now have much more to say. And I need to have a more eloquent way of saying these things. I need to have a better sense for editing, timing. Yeah. This is why I think my music is going to work well on these places. I want somebody who cares about what they're listening to, who pays attention to lyrics, who pays attention to the arrangement, to the beautiful strings in the background of all these songs. That's the kind of person that I'm looking for. And I'm not going to find them on Instagram. I'm not going to find them on the TikTok. I just call it the TikTok. So what we lose out on without TikTok or Instagram, it's real simple. It's new audiences. It's new people. Your content is being shown to random strangers halfway around the world. And that is extremely powerful. It's why TikTok drives the music industry. It really, really does, because it's able to get something obscure to everybody in the world. And that is something you used to have to pay a lot of money for. Now it's free, technically. But you're going to have to accept that your ability to be discovered, my ability to be discovered now, has just gone way down. I am going to have to work for every single one of you that comes my way. And I now need to figure out strategies to do that. For me, my initial thoughts around what I'm going to do is flyering. Where is it? Okay. So I'm going to show you this. QRC logo, a little blurb about myself and my face so that you know it's me. So that idea of flyering is kind of like mixtapes or CDs that you used to print yourself. Going to other gigs for artists that are similar to you, going to events, going to places where you think your fans are, and literally just handing out flyers to strangers. That's one of the strategies. And so another one of these tactics is getting in front of a fan base that you're a part of. You know, finding the communities online where you can connect yourself with. I have a song out called Fitzcarraldo, where I sample the film Fitzcarraldo by Werner Herzog. Trying to get to Werner Herzog fans using that song as a sort of gateway. Maybe they'll like the rest of the stuff I do. Because I obsess over Werner Herzog so much, I'm assuming there's something in me that is in him. Same is true for someone like, let's say, Super Eyepatch Wolf on YouTube. I fucking love. I got permission from him to use one of his video clips in one of my songs as a sample.
Before this moment, you were the audience. You were this voyeuristic entity observing this third-hand humiliation.
Now I have this opportunity to go to this community and say, hey, look, I made a fun little thing. And then suddenly I've got access to Super Eyepatch Wolf's community, which is a very lovely group of nerdy people who I think would fuck with what I do. I think they'd like the music that I make. This is one of now the other options, is connecting with fandoms out there that I already exist in. Because you need to already exist in these things. You can't start selling to random people. It needs to be the people that you are. I'm trying to find people like me, people that I can connect with. And then finally, I would just say word of mouth is still the most powerful thing in the industry. It's still the thing that people cite the most when they talk about recommendations that they accept. If you look at somebody like Blind Boy Boat Club and his podcast, like the Blind Boy podcast, is all word of mouth. People tell other people about that. I tell people about his podcast constantly. That's how it's grown so big. So we have to become these out-of-box thinkers if we don't have the traditional means of sending our work out there into the world. We got to become a little bit weird. We got to become a little bit creative. And that's on us as musicians. Yeah. So finally, I want to finish on just some little details about what comes next. I think a big part of what I want to do is make extra musical content. I want to vlog. I want to have chats with you like this. I do want to start a podcast, and coming up with those ideas is a lot of fun. It's quite difficult. If there's any advice you have, let me know. Like, I'd love to know what you think about this idea. Do you have any experiences trying to leave social media? Do you want to leave social media? Are you an artist that has successfully left social media? Because I want to hear what you're up to. There's a lot of power in crowdsourcing success. It takes a village. It really, really does. And if I want my music to take me around the world, I'm going to need a lot of people to help me do that. But that's it. That's kind of where this video ends. What was my point? I had a point.